In order to identify the problem of practice, we first had to analyze our teaching. By doing so, we were able to identify what we as teachers are not doing to support our learner-centered problem. After analyzing our teaching and discussing where we went wrong, we have decided that the problem of practice is, as teachers, we do not provide opportunities for students to practice identifying and analyzing key details independently. We also do not provide enough opportunities for students to practice using these key details or text evidence to respond to written prompts. Looking at our problem of practice, we then researched and found 4 different strategies that would help our teaching and support student learning. The first strategy is consistently asking, "How do I know?" For this strategy, we have the students use the palm of their hand to show the main idea. They then use their 5 fingers for 5 different details in the text. The strategy is of medium impact, which allows for students to work independently and monitor their thinking by asking, "How do I know this is what the text is about?" They can use this strategy independently or they can use it in a group setting. This makes for high feasibility as it is easy for students to implement after being modeled and explicitly taught by the teacher. We found this resource in the Reading Strategies book in the chapter Your Everything Guide to Developing Skilled Readers by Sarah Vello. The second strategy that we came up with was RACES. RACES is an acronym which stands for R. Restate the question, A. Answer all parts of the question, C. Cite the source and say where the information is found in the text, E. Explain your response using evidence from the text to support the answer, and S. Summarize or sum it up. What have you been talking about? What is the main idea? And this strategy is of high impact and helps students write independently and organize their writing to include key details and text-based evidence to answer writing prompts. The strategy is also of high feasibility as the graphic organizer can be used independently after being modeled explicitly by the teacher. You can click the link below for more information on the RACES strategy and how you can implement it in your classroom as well. Our third strategy in our action plan is using graphic organizers for main idea and supporting details. This strategy has a medium impact. Graphic organizers are useful for helping students organize information in a way that is useful to the task that students are trying to complete. Graphic organizers can also be differentiated based on student need and level of support. Graphic organizers also change based on the text being read. For example, the fishbone graphic organizer works best for identifying the main idea and details of a cause and effect text. The Student Interactive is a graphic organizer that is useful for students of all levels and various texts. Students must also use pictures to support the key details they've chosen. These are a few examples of graphic organizers that could be used in a classroom to show main idea and supporting details. These graphic organizers also have a high feasibility. Graphic organizers may require initial support and explanation of how to use, but once students are familiar with them, they can be used in small groups and independently, after a student reads a text and when the student rereads a text. For more graphic organizers on main idea and more information on using graphic organizers in main idea, click the link below. It's from scholastic.com, a highly recommended website. Our final strategy is selective highlighting. This strategy has a medium impact. Selective highlighting focuses on teaching students to highlight only keywords, phrases, evidence, and vocabulary central to the reading. This strategy is of high feasibility as it can easily be implemented after explicit instruction and modeling by the teacher. Students will highlight the information that supports the main idea. This strategy may require initial support and explanation on how to locate and find information based on previously read passages. The use of previously read passages creates independence in locating the evidence that is central to the reading passages. After we completed our strategies and found our strategies, we came up with implementation indicators. We first came up with a strategy to implement. Our strategy is to use explicit instruction and selective highlighting to model main idea. Graphic organizers will be used to identify main idea and find key details using text evidence. We will use races to help students write about and explain what they have gathered in selective highlighting and graphic organizers. We then came up with what will be seen in the classroom for both the teacher and the student. The teacher will do as follows. Explicitly teach and model, identifying and analyzing key details using evidence to find main idea using graphic organizers on either the board or a smartboard. Teachers will provide students with main idea topics and graphic organizers. Teachers will provide students with appropriate leveled readings when it comes time for independent work. Teachers will use think aloud strategies while modeling selective highlighting to find main idea and whole class discussion of a text. During independent work, teachers will conference with students, ask them questions about how they found key details and their evidence to support the main idea. Teachers will ask the students to explain their thinking. In the classroom, students must know the words key details and main idea. Students must be able to use these words accordingly in writing responses. The students will also fill out graphic organizers with guided practice and independent practice to show they can support main idea and analyze key details using evidence from the text. Finally, what the classroom will look like and what the student work will look like. In the classroom, we will make and display main idea and key details anchor charts. We will also display a races anchor chart for visual aids. We will make and display graphic organizers to show a strong supporting detail and one that would not make sense. This will show students what theirs should look like and what it should not. We will allow students to have appropriate workspace, and the teacher will move throughout the room observing and monitoring students' ability to identify key details with evidence to support main idea during both modeling and guided practice. The student work should demonstrate students' ability to summarize a text, locate and use key sentences or phrases, and use different strategies to support the main idea in their writing responses and reading. Finally, we came up with 3 different assessments that will help show student understanding with rubrics as well as checklists.